would have thought? Who's the unhinged pink gorilla? We'll see what happens. Good morning and welcome to this Thursday morning on Black Spring. And hope you guys are doing well out there. And before I get started, we're going to go to just a quick word of thanks to our sponsors, and of course, the viewers like yourself. And and if you're not sure if you're coming in, as always, thank you so much for considering. And I will be right back. This show is brought to you in part by our sponsors. Whether you're interested in health, culture, politics, scripture, automobiles, or music, please check out Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Marcy T., Joseph Francis Burton, Paralysis by Analysis, Chrysler Imperial H, Little Miss Goth, AZ Infidel, Cold War Jesus, Anthony Scioli, and Let the Truth Be Told. We'll be right back right after this. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I want to say hello to Spirit of Liberty 1775. And she's coming in with a comment that says, talk about early bird gets the worm. Or you're definitely getting something. if you're not getting the worm, you're definitely getting something. But thank you so much for tuning in. So and also thank you for coming into the planet of what I'm thinking, maybe at best the apes. We'll get into that in just a second. So thank you for coming in. And thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. So we do have, I want to explain a little bit of the inspiration for this morning's infographics or whatnot, the imagery that you have. For one, as you can see before you, you have someone that is in a bit of a, what do you call it? For the lack of a better word, I don't know the clinical term for it, but that looks like a straitjacket. And then also for the thumbnail on this morning, we have a picture of apparently it's a liberal. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if those are even, should we call them that anymore? I think we got to do a little better on our wordsmithing here. It's just, to me, it seems it's so much worse than that. I mean, someone once said, I'm not sure, I don't remember who it was, that that human beings were really not that far beyond primates. And to me, this is another example of, to me, this kind of reinforces something about that. It kind of supports that argument just a little bit. Now, I'm not saying I'm not going into evolution, or I'm not going to argue, Darwin or any of that. If you guys want to do that out here, you knock yourselves out. But I mean, this could be a teacher in your community. She could be your coworker. She could be your Uber driver. She could be your barista, or whatever you want to call it. She could be your school board member or president. She could even be paid, if you want to chew on a little conspiracy there. But These are the kinds of people that are coming out for Larry Elder. And I just look at it as this, to me, this is a scene that you could probably find something like this if you go back into any of that imagery from the late 1950s through the 60s. And I think you could find something like this very easily, either a lunch counter sit in, another peaceful protest demonstration, like in the South, in the Deep South, in the cradle of the Confederacy. You can find this kind of thing anywhere. I'm just wondering, do these people realize that we're repeating history? But what has changed? And I'll leave it up to you guys to, of course, talk amongst yourself. But what has actually changed with the actual representation? I mean, I'm just thinking about Larry Elder's candidacy. He started out battling somebody that supposedly looks like him or shares, some ethnicity, with him. And that was Dr. Weber, Shirley Weber. And she's the Secretary of State. So she started out, she was, the first one to take a shot at him and getting him out of the way. But I think from what I've seen, I don't know if you guys have seen this clip, but I'm going to share it with you. This kind of attack. I mean, to me, if you're throwing, I've never been assaulted by anyone throwing an egg, but I would imagine that is that's a painful strike. It's a painful graze. Even if you drop an egg just from a certain distance, and I'm not saying, try this at home, like drop an egg off of your roof or drop an egg off of your balcony or whatever, and see what it feels like. But to me, this is actually more of an assault issue, and you're not going to have anybody to cover this actual footage. But I will say this also, I was just kind of tuning into somebody else's stream or podcast, and from the Black, or those that consider themselves Black, from the Black community, people were asking this particular personality, was she endorsing Larry Elder? And so she starts going into, this diatribe about, well, I've had this kind of interaction with Larry Elder on Twitter, and, we need to make sure that these candidates that they've that they've been doing work inside the Black community prior to their candidacy, which to me, I don't go for this whole Black. Is he for Black America? And I'm just thinking, at what point, where is the Black national? We're on the map. Is there a Black or a nation for Black people? And then can you really tell me that the people that are running the list, the laundry list of candidates, can you really tell me that somebody doing a community service is the measure of somebody being genuine, or that being a way to vet somebody and how they would and what they would do, if they were successful in their candidacy? It's not. And I'm just thinking, to me, these are the kinds of mistakes that are made over and over again. People that are focused on skin color, they rarely ever attack arguments. They're always attacking the color, or they're attacking the man. They never attack what he's actually planning on doing, or what he says his platform is about. It's an absolute road bump. It's like after that, they never go beyond skin color. And I cannot stand listening to those kinds of, to me, it's not even an argument. It's not. It's like, have you learned nothing? What have you learned in the way you've been voting? Ask somebody else, or go Google something, do something besides, color code everything, or say that you haven't seen somebody in the Black community doing something. What exactly are they supposed to be doing? They never say anything specific. Never say, they never make an intelligent argument against this man. It's always about, or is he handing out? So what if he handed out, or if he didn't hand out backpacks, or if he didn't get Walmart or Walgreens, or he didn't have those kinds of partnerships? That is not the kind of thing that actually doesn't prove that somebody is going to do is going to advance or going to have the best interest of anybody of any background at heart. It doesn't. It's more, to me, that's more of a philanthropist effort. That's more community outreach. I mean, I thought you would have had enough of that, from the 8-year presidency that we had with people that were supposed to be looking like, somebody looking like you. And that, how did that work out? But we're going to get into a couple of things, because it looks like the Democrats are throwing all of their people in behind this whole thing, this whole Newsom recall. And I'm going to be honest, I think this thing is going to get really ugly. And I think it's actually going to get really dangerous. And I would say, before I show this clip, I don't want to blow it. If you haven't seen it, I would suggest that Elder get better security, because from what I can see from this footage, that these guys were in no condition they were in no condition, or they were not equipped to handle the kind of outrage that he was met with, or the violence he was met with. And I don't think if he advances, those are not the people that are going to be able to protect him. They're just not. Yeah. And there's nothing that's going to be done about it. There's nothing that's going to be done. You can see, you'll be able to see for yourself. So I've already burned like 12 minutes and 45 seconds on this. So I guess I should say hello to everybody else that's come into the stream. I appreciate it. Alien Believers is here. How are you? And Old Head Deuce says Larry Elder is trash. Well, Old Head, and that's, and you, that is your opinion. But, the only thing I ask is, bring something with that. What you said, it's not intelligent. Yes. So I'm just saying, if you say somebody's trash, what's behind that? I mean, it's a full contact sport. If I say something like that, I expect, somebody's going to come back with something to say, hey, what do you have to go with that? I mean, he's trash. And you say he's trash compared to Newsom. So what does that make Newsom? I'm not, I'm not going going toe to toe with you right now. I'm just saying, this is the problem. You can't. This is why liberals don't debate, or progressives don't debate very well. And I'm not saying that you are, but I'm saying that is more of a characteristic of somebody that is doing something or saying something that's not actually, what is it based on? Where are you coming from with that? That's all we ask for around here. Where are you coming from? I mean, does he tell jokes? Is he entertaining? Is he a syndicated radio host? Yes. Is he popular at that? Yes. Does he do I think he understands the dynamics of what's going on in California? He is from California, and he did come from the streets. So I just want to know, when people say things like that, I mean, help me out, help us out. When you say things like that, exactly, is he perfect? Probably not. Is Newsom perfect? I would say no. But I'm just thinking that I would just expect at this point, that people, you got to come with a little bit more cushion, just a little bit more. And we have John H. Roberts Jr. He's here. And oh my God, Joseph Francis Burton, did you change your name to Omega Variant? I would have never guessed that was you. All right, so from Old Head Deuce to my screen, he says Larry is a spin doctor. He will not bring any healthy energy to the situation. Well, but even that, what's healthy energy? What's healthy energy? I mean, I'm just saying, how healthy is the energy right now? Do you think the energy is really healthy right now? I'm just saying. I don't think the energy is very healthy right now, is what I would think. And like I said, I'm not trying to, I'm just saying, I want to hear some dissent. I'd like to hear it. But to me, I'm saying, like, I'm looking for something that is not subjective or something that's actually, I'm just looking for something else, something to sink my teeth into. And to me, what I've heard so far, I have not, I can't sink my teeth into any of that. And if I do, it won't stick. That's all I'm saying. I mean, we're talking about politics here. We're talking about who can spin the best. So is Newsom a better spinster? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what your guys' standards are, but I do know that people are not doing well in California. That's what I'm saying. And you can't keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. That's my bottom line. So I appreciate that from you, old head Deuce. Give us some more at your convenience. So I'm not gonna talk about it anymore. I'm gonna take you guys to the actual liner, but I'm saying that it's kind of, and I'm not saying that it's a matter of being disloyal if people that happen to be of your same ethnicity, that they cannot attack you. But I'm not saying that they can't do that, but I find that there are people that are that call themselves leaders or represent Black people that are absolutely untouchable. Nobody can say anything about Obama. And then a lot of people might try to go at you for saying anything about Kamala Harris if you happen to identify as Black or whatever you refer to yourself as. But those people, everybody can take a little criticism, whether it's constructive or not. You have the right to do that. But there's some people that are just absolutely untouchable. And I don't think that Larry Elder is untouchable. I just ask that people, bring some substance to the table. If you're going to criticize somebody, bring something. Yeah, bring some trash, but then also bring some pluses and some minuses. I'm not saying write them down, but in this case, California is in a bad way right now. Very bad. And I'm saying, and this is the other thing, it's like, if he is trash, does he deserve to be egged or assaulted by people who disagree with him? I get confused that sometimes I think people, because they don't like something, they'll deny, even if it's true, they'll deny truth in something just because they don't like something, or they'll deny it. And then it just sets up this whole thing. It sets up madness. And you'll never get to the truth if people are just flat out in denial, or they're just disagreeing, that their logic is, because I don't like this is not true. This person has no qualities. They have nothing to bring to the table. That's the frustrating part for me. Hi, Marcy T. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. Marcy T says, how about no mask? Nothing, taking care of yourself and your family. Marcy T for governor. All right, Marcy T. You probably have some support. All right, Old Head says, Larry is way too much of a company guy, way too much of a yes man, no plan. He's just being used to oust Newsom. Okay, who's using him though? Who's using him to oust Newsom? I mean, I'm going to tell you, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about in California. People will complain, until they're blue in the face, but then, there's no change. No change ever happens. No change happens. And I guess, to me, I'm going to be honest, I don't think that Newsom is going to be removed. I really don't. That's in all honesty. I don't think he's going to be removed, because I think somewhere along the lines that that I don't know. Let's just move right along here. And here we go. Let me just one comment, and then I'll get on. We'll go to the video. So Omega variant, aka Joseph Francis Bird, says, yeah, I got heat from my mom for calling Kamala an affirmative action diversity hire. Well, you know what? It's one thing about it. When the truth comes out, let it burn and let it swell. Because usually if it's burning, it's swelling. or one way or the other. One will follow the other. So I'm gonna, I don't need to talk about it. I can just show it to you yourself. So if people are comfortable in California, with whether they agree with Larry Elder or not, if they're comfortable with what's going on there, and they're comfortable of history repeating itself and co-signing it, then that's exactly what you're going to get, because it's already in the works. I mean, they got the mail-in ballots going. It's already, the conditions are already set. So hang on just a second. All right, so let's go ahead and go over to that. I'm going to share that screen with you guys. Thanks so much for coming in. But yes, I do not condone. I'm saying I do not condone anybody attacking any candidates, even if Newsom were out walking the streets. I would not say, all right, people dress up in mask and go and egg him. I would never say that. I would never say that's what should happen to him. Whether he's a puppet, he's controlled, whether he's related to Pelosi by marriage, whatever. I would never say that's what should happen to him. I would never stand by and say, oh yeah, he deserves that and more. So let's go there, people. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. And like I said, it is Thursday. So this is your video. And I guess you can give me a 5x5 or whatever you got for this situation here. I do have a couple of different footage. I have some more footage. And I think I might have one that's actually better than this. So let's do that one instead. All footage isn't created equally, right? So we'll take this one out. All right. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in. So I'm going to change the page here. We'll go to another one, but this other one gives you, I think, pretty good audio. So hopefully it will come through. All right. And we'll go to that one. We'll go back to that one for some remarks. Thank you guys for tuning in. And I'll give you this full screen on this one. So this one is actually coming out of a Instagram post. And this is, as you can see it here, it's entitled Team Larry Elder Attacked by Leftist Mob. And it is. What is a lynch mob? Is it not?
Don't touch me again. Don't touch him. I'll pop him in the motherfucker name.
All right, I will go ahead and say the disclaimer. I apologize for the language here, but it is what it is, and it's not what it's not. Probably. Probably let this one play again, because I was talking over and blurted out. Okay, so he's whisked away in the Jeep here, but you can see there's an array of people with different backgrounds out here. How much press? Some bystanders? I don't know. Looks like, okay, so here we are.
Don't touch me again. Don't touch him. I'll pop him in the motherfucker name. Fuck with me, boy. Get that sorry piece of shit out of here. Hey, Michael, stop.
Okay. All right. I'm going to stop this one. Okay. I'm actually going to stop this one really quickly. But as you can see, sorry. All right, guys, I'm having a moment here. All right. But so in that clip, you could actually see, to me, actually, Larry Elder himself actually looked a little bit frightened in all of that. And it's just, honestly, I don't even know. I mean, like I said, could this person have been paid? I just don't know. It's just like, to me, they always seem to send somebody seems to be always deployed. They send out their nasty foot soldiers to attack, people that don't agree with them. Let's just drop all the handles for a second. They just send nasty people out to attack the opposition if you don't agree with them. And this guy, I guess that was his security, but I just don't think his security was. I don't think the security was formidable at all. I think he probably should get someone else. I'm not saying that security is going to be able to avert and to deal with every single lunatic that comes along in this process, but I don't think that crew of men, or that crew that he had, was very well equipped at all, because this woman, she's throwing punches, and she's I don't know. I don't know who she represents, but who knows? I know a lot of people are throwing money behind Newsom, and so I wouldn't be surprised, from what we've seen in the past, if you don't have people going out, doing these kinds of things, throwing eggs, and when they couldn't get to Larry, they got to his security. So and I did see one or two black people out there, and it seems like they were trying to diffuse the situation, but they just got more intense and they became more confrontational. So I don't know, but this is very sad, and it's pretty dangerous for a candidate, any candidate, to be dealing with that. But then this is supposed to be one of the most tolerant states, right? Most tolerant state in the union, right? And this is how they're treating a black man that's running for governor. That's how you're handling him, and nobody's going to say anything. Nobody's going to say a word. And that's what I'm talking about. It's just like everything's off the table. Like all the gloves are off. And I think Obama and Kamala are going to be coming in, going to be throwing their hats in to rally support around Newsom in this situation. So I think next week is going to be pretty crazy. And, if for a second there, Larry Elder kind of reminded me some of those images from the civil rights, whether it would be a Dr. King image or Medgar Evers. Some people are just so far removed from, history. It's like, we don't really, is it normalcy bias that we don't think that these things can happen right now, or we're just going to deny that these things are happening? Yeah, I mean, I'm saying, there was a woman that actually stabbed Dr. King, and she happened to be black. She actually made an attempt on his life as well. So I'm just thinking, there's nothing new about this. It's just that it's repeating itself, and many people are, to me, their silence is, you're complicit when you're silent, or when you're just going along with it. And I see it all the time, and that's why I cannot I can't participate in things that are not, that are full of, hypocrisy and just hate. This is a hateful situation, and I don't see it getting any better. I just say, Larry, please hire another security team for your sake. And probably I wouldn't do any marches, anything that resembles a march. I wouldn't do it. Not in the streets. No. So let me read a couple of comments, because Marcy T comes in fully loaded as always. But let me say hello to Flashback LG. How are you? Thank you for joining us over on Twitch. I appreciate it. And let me just go backwards just a little bit here. It's just this is just, it's frustrating, and it's sad to see that people cannot use your words and not eggs to disagree with someone, and stop attacking the man or a person's skin color, and come with some substance. Nobody really wants to hear, an opinion, shoved down somebody's throat. The Omega variant. The Omega variant says, isn't California 70% registered Dem with mail-in ballots? Yeah, Newsom not going anywhere. But it's like, Larry Elder, you're going to get hurt in this situation if you don't if you don't recognize where you are, if you don't recognize it, see, to me, I'm talking race relations. If you don't recognize the amount of nuance that there is. I mean, a lot of people do a lot of things, and whether they realize it or not, subconsciously, they are doing things that are racially motivated. So most people, if you ask them if they're racist, they'll say, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And I'm saying, is there bias? I would say yes. I'm not saying that I throw that word around, but I'm saying I do think these things are, it's projection. It's projection because they think that everybody is as racist as they are. And that is a lot of people. That is a lot of people, whether they want to believe it or not, and it's more people than will ever admit it, more. And I've run into some like that. I don't talk about my own personal experiences with race. I don't, but I have. It is pretty nuanced. If I had to go into it, I could talk about my own experiences. So let me keep going. Marcy T came in with, I had to move. I had been through hell and back. I'm still writing you. Thank you, Marcy T. I'm glad you're okay. Yeah. Feel free to send me an email for sure. And Marcy T also says, I'm pissed over the 8 chick messing with an old man is what I see. And Old Head Dude says, sloppy, slow, and weak from a leadership perspective. And Marcy said, the OBs. A lynch mob, indeed. Yeah, I mean, he could have very well have been, he could very well. I mean, this is not, like I said, this is not original, but people are absolutely, I don't know if it's a matter of people being desensitized, demoralized, but like I said, I'm telling you this whole thing about, I just think that people they're in a position to do what they do because they've got the creative leverage. They have more creative leverage to act on whatever their motivations are. Are they going to admit that that's what they're doing? No, they're not. You couldn't pound it out of them. Not that I'm waking up with violence or promoting violence, but you couldn't, your mother couldn't beat it out of you. It's just, there's just some things, some people are just hateful and some people just don't like what they see when they look at, when they don't like what's looking back at them. They really don't. But they'll tell you you're doing it. All right. So Omega Variant says the video had some black guy saying Larry Elder was running against, quote, his own people. This identity stuff is primate thinking. Thank you, Joseph Francis Burton. I think that's pretty right on. It is. It's like, where are we? I mean, are we still there? I mean, yeah, it's like people like man overcoming himself. I think this is some old philosophy that I'm thinking about right now. Yeah, but sad to say, people are perfectly fine. Some people have been perfectly fine if Larry Elder had been stabbed or even murdered in that situation. And that is that's a real deal. So people have been perfectly fine. And people that look like him would have been fine with that too. And I'm ashamed to say that's real. Very, very much. Okay, so I'm going to keep going here. And so let's keep the grime going here. I'm going to take a quick little break here, and then we'll get into, I'm probably going to open this up just for a few minutes here. And you know what I always say, a few minutes. I always say a few minutes, but this could get very heavy. If I go full on, it could get kind of heavy. So I will put a little bit of a link out here for you, and then we'll go on to, we only have about 2 hits left, and it's going to be more support. These people throwing support behind Newsom, and they're, the implications of a Larry Elder victory is what they don't want. They want to suppress, I think, what they want to continue to suppress what what other people are thinking. They don't want it to be known that people think that this place is going in the wrong direction. And he represents that, whether he's the best candidate, whether he's sloppy seconds, or whether he's scraping the barrel. They don't want that out. They don't want it. And they'll do anything to keep it that way. All right. So let me take a quick little break here and I'll be right back. This show is brought to you in part by our sponsors. Whether you're interested in health, culture, politics, scripture, automobiles, or music, please check out Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Marcy T., Joseph Francis Burton, Paralysis by Analysis, Chrysler Imperial H, Little Miss Goth, AZ Infidel, Cold War Jesus, Anthony Scioli, and Let the Truth Be Told. We'll be right back right after this. All right, so we're going to go to the next liner, and that's actually coming out of the Hill. And you guessed it, it's Obama that's on the docket right now. So I have I'm going to go ahead and share the screen with you on this one. Thank you guys so much for coming in and burning some Thursday morning minutes. All right, so yeah, so you're going to see the ads. I think this ad's coming out today. With Obama's ad supporting Newsom, so that's what I'm talking about. This is, here we go. All right, so I hope you guys can see this, and I will give you the full screen on this. Of course, you wouldn't have it any other way. All right, so here we go. What we have here is from the Hill. Obama cuts ad in support of Newsom ahead of California recall. Okay. So according to this, former President Obama is appearing in a TV ad backing California Governor Gavin Newsom as part of his campaign's final efforts to boost Democratic turnout in next Tuesday's recall election. A Newsom campaign spokesperson confirmed to The Hill that Obama would appear in the ad spot, which was first reported by Politico earlier Wednesday. The footage of the ad shared by Inside Elections on Twitter showed Obama telling California voters that they had a, quote, big choice to make, end quote, in the election, while also defending Newsom's job performance during the CV pandemic. Quote, Governor Newsom has spent the past year and a half protecting California communities, end quote, Obama says in the ad. Quote, now Republicans are trying to recall him from office and overturn common sense CV safety measures for healthcare workers and school staff, end quote. Your vote could be the difference between protecting our kids and putting them at risk, end quote, he continues. Quote, helping Californians recover or taking us backwards. Ooh, taking us backwards. Obama ended the ad by telling California residents to, quote, protect California by voting, quote, no on the Republican recall, end quote. Okay, so I'm going to share this with you. This is a tweet insert here from Jacob Rubashkin, and I'll show you. It says, here it is, the ad Obama just cut for Gavin Newsom's anti-recall campaign, focuses on CV, specifically the mocktail mandates, and hits Elder for being close to, guess what? Ding, 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 starts with a T and ends with a P. Protect California by voting no on the Republican recall, end quote. See, this is what this is all about. This is where the rhetoric it's about. It's really about Trump. Okay, it really is, and they can't get off of it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the button here. I'm not sure if this is an ad here, but I hope this is not. The car is not the ad, but.
Hello, Californians. You've got a big choice to make by September 14th. Governor Newsom has spent the past year and a half protecting California communities. Now Republicans are trying to recall him from office and overturn common sense COVID safety measures for healthcare workers and school staff. Your vote could be the difference between protecting our kids and putting them at risk, helping Californians recover or taking us backwards. Protect California by voting no on the Republican recall.
All right, you got it. You got it. Okay, so there you go. You see, you talk about spin. It's a Republican recall. Okay, it's a Republican recall, and yeah, I knew they were going to trot him out, you know, but there's no fault in this man. Okay, the one that's on here right now, he is untouchable. Anything he says, they will do it. Anything he says. They'll eat crap going down a flight of stairs. If he says to do it, that's exactly what they'll do. So you'll find out. I mean, Tuesday, I think this thing is probably already done because of the ballots. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you got a ballot whether or not you wanted it or not. You didn't even have a choice. And I think it's kind of a weak ad, but that's what they do. And I'm gonna be honest, I really don't think he has the juice anymore. Okay, whatever magic that he had, he doesn't have it anymore. I just don't think he does. I don't think he does. It's like his speeches, they don't even have the same zing anymore. They don't have that. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's my musical ear. I pay attention to everything. But yeah, so that's the Obama punch coming at you. So we have one more, and looks like the LA Times is actually they're losing their minds over there, and so I'm just going to keep going. Hello to Fancy Truth. I really appreciate it. Marcy T says he is Antichrist. That's why. All right, so we're gonna keep going here. I'm gonna take you to the next liner, and it's gonna be another. I mean, Kamala Harris, is she really popular? Really? Okay. Well, they're trotting her out for this one too. So I'm gonna bring you the next one here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Marcy T. Fancy Truth says, abomination of desolation. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to share the next screen with you. And I don't know. It's just, do we have, I mean, Kamala's presence, I don't know. Do you guys feel, do you guys have any faith in her? I mean, I just don't know. I don't know anymore. She's doing it. And we need her to come in because she's doing such a great job in her current position. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to share this one with you. So this is the LA Times. And of course, they're trying to get me to subscribe, which is not going to happen. All right. So it looks like she will be, I don't know if she's already in California right now for this thing. I'm not sure, but she's pretty sketchy. All right, so it says Vice President Harris, former President Obama joined Newsom's fight against a recall effort. So, what is it? Sometimes we get what we deserve. Is that true? Are you guys on that? Are you guys a part of that? All right, it says Harris and Obama are the latest high-profile Democrats to join Newsom's all-out push against Larry Elder and lesser-known candidates as the recall vote nears. All right, so according to this, at San Leandro, California Governor Gavin Newsom received a boost from a familiar face Wednesday when his longtime political ally, Vice President Kamala Harris, returned to the Bay Area to campaign for him against the GOP-led recall. And the Bay Area is in disarray. I mean, people are fleeing the Bay Area like 90 going south, because the expense. the expense of the place, and they're driving the price of living up everywhere because the places are out of control. The crime is out of control. So if like I said, if you vote for them, you're going to get what you deserve. You're going to get what you get. Okay, quote, they wouldn't be trying to recall him, but for the fact that he has always stood for reproductive rights, end quote. That sounds like her part of her platform from her 2020 run. That's what it was. Harris said at a rally in San Leandro, quote, they wouldn't be trying to recall him, except they know he stands for our dreamers and our farm workers, end quote. Quote, this is why they're putting in so many resources and time to take out Gavin Newsom, end quote. Hours after the rally with Harris, Newsom's campaign released a 30-second ad featuring, we just saw that, former President Obama, who told voters that Republicans are trying to recall the governor, quote, and overturn common sense CV safety measures for healthcare workers and school staff. But all of that is just so bizarre considering, these elite, he had money to send his kids to private schools. And he also, goes out to eat and doesn't pay any attention to safety. He's sitting there with safety people, safety bureaucrats making the rules, and they're not doing anything that resembles safety at this French Laundry restaurant. So like I said, sometimes you just have to let people, make their bed. I digressed. Your vote could be the difference between protecting our kids and putting them at risk, helping California recover, or taking us backwards, end quote, Obama says in the ad. Harris and Obama are the latest in a series of high-profile national politicians after Democrats' U.S. Senators Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts and Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota and independent Bernie Sanders of Vermont to join Newsom in a full-court press against Larry Elder, anti-mocktail activist, and Trump supporters on the campaign trail in the television ads. In the final days before September 14th election, Newsom's campaign is seeking to capitalize on help from national figures to turn out voters and show unity from all corners of the Democratic Party as the governor fights for his political survival. Quote, there are very few better messengers than the Bay Area native who has gone on to become the VP of the United States, campaigning in her home turf on his behalf, end quote, said Brian Brokaw, a senior advisor to Newsom and a former political advisor to Harris. So, here it is. Brokaw described Harris and Newsom as political siblings whose careers overlapped in the bubble of San Francisco politics and followed parallel paths to power for the next 20 years. Appointed to the Public Post, former mayor of San Francisco and Assembly Speaker Willie Brown in the mid-1990s, Harris was the first woman to be elected San Francisco's district attorney on the same 2003 ballot that made Newsom the city's youngest mayor. They leapt to statewide office together in 2011 when she became attorney general, and he took on the role of lieutenant governor. 4 years later, she announced her plan to run for former Senator Barbara Boxer's seat, and Newsom followed the next month with an early declaration of his intent to run for governor 3 years before the 2018 election. Harris jumped to the national stage before Newsom with a run for president in 2020 that ended up with her positioned as Biden's second in command. Her rise in Washington has raised questions about what it means for Newsom's path beyond the governor's office. Because, see, he wants, I believe, you can't even get, I think he already has Newsom for president somewhere. He's already got that. So you can't even buy that right now. But just FYI, I'm sorry, I'm digressing again. On Wednesday, she stood on a stage in San Leandro and offered a full-throated defense of her longtime friend. Quote, he has the courage and he has had it his entire career to believe in, know what is possible, and to know what is possible, Harris said, an ability to see what can be unburdened by what has been, end quote. Harris originally intended to campaign for Newsom nearly 2 weeks ago and postponed the trip after the deadly attack in Afghanistan that killed U.S. service members. Sean Clegg, a senior political advisor to Newsom, said in the final days before the election that the campaign aims to, quote, make sure that every living, breathing Californian knows that this recall is happening, end quote, and understands that the stakes through campaign rallies and a robust voter outreach plan that includes television ads, phone calls, and door-to-door connections. Harris's visit and President Biden's anticipated trip to rally for Newsom in California next week will put the message, quote, on steroids, end quote, Clegg said. Quote, a standalone appearance isn't going to be decisive in this whole thing, but it does send the message that Democrats are unified from top to bottom, unlike in 2003, end quote, said Gary South, a senior political advisor to former Governor Gray Davis. So, it kind of goes on and on and on. They're so unified, and I don't honestly, I just, Kamala, I really don't know what the climate is in California. I really don't. I think they're thinking that people are not going to turn out for this thing. I think that the left doesn't think that their people are going to turn out for this thing. But this is pretty wordy here. But of course, this is just more, some Democrats have become disillusioned with Davis, South said, and Lieutenant Governor Cruz Bustamante's candidacy helped fuel a split within the party nearly 2 decades ago. John Kerry and other Democratic presidential hopefuls stumped for Davis. But then President George W. Bush and the Republican National Committee smartly kept clear of the race and made it difficult for Davis to frame the recall as a GOP power grab, South said. This time around, Newsom and his political advisors have successfully sold the narrative that the recall election is motivated by, you guessed it, Trump Republicans and radical right-wing groups with the help of the national GOP. Though Trump has stayed out of the campaign, the Republican National Committee donated to the pro-recall cause former U.S. House Speaker Newt Gingrich, from former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee, Trump's personal lawyer Rudy Giuliani, and Devin Nunes have endorsed the recall or the backup candidates, giving the governor an opportunity to name check the controversial California figures as he rallies voters against the recall. And the arrival of the conservative talk radio host Larry Elder has given Newsom a clear contrast from Democrats and a reason to vote no. And Saleandro Newsom said Elder believes food stamps are a giveaway, wants to eliminate the corporate tax and end the minimum wage, and would reverse the state's progress on the CD19. Quote, we're all on the ballot, end quote, Newsom said. Quote, our principles, our values are on the ballot, end quote. Meanwhile, Elder marked his ballot in favor of the recall on Tuesday morning in a Los Angeles voting center that was near empty, save for the long line of press cameras filming as he worked the machine. He was joined by his girlfriend, Nina Perry. Quote, it's a beautiful day to recall a governor, end quote, Elder said, standing on a busy stretch of Melrose Avenue outside the voting center. In a sign that Newsom's scare tactics and the campaign blitz are working, a recent poll found that 58% of likely California voters oppose recalling Newsom, compared with a 39% of who support removing the governor. Early mail ballots returns show that Democrats account for more than half of the 6.6 million ballots turned in so far, and Republicans represent less than a quarter. Quote, he doesn't have a Schwarzenegger, end quote, said South, noting that the circumstance around the recall appear rosier for Newsom than they were for Davis. Quote, he doesn't have Cruz Bustamante, or Bustamante. I'm not familiar with this name here. He has a friendly White House, a president and vice president who have come out against the recall. If we call 2003 a perfect storm, this is the reverse of that, a harmonic convergence of the planets. All right, that was a little thick, a little bit wordy. But to me, the point of this thing is basically, we're all a united front against this elder character, and we're gonna do our thing as we always do, and we're gonna suppress anything else that says the opposite of that. So there you go. That was your final liner out of the LA Times. And the LA Times has been pretty brutal in this situation also. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. But I just had to share that video with you, and just the the history repeats itself, and that's real, and it's happening all the time, and it's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening. All right, so we have Marcy T. She says, you see them running Trudeau out of their towns. All right, so I'm going to take a quick little break, and I'm going to say salute to everybody in the stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will be right back. Guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. All right, and thank you guys so much again for tuning in on this segment. I really appreciate it. And so, just a little recap. We did talk about the actual attack, the physical attack on Elder Eggs, the Eggs ambush, led by a lynch mob led by a pink punk or feminist dressed gorilla. And yeah, we did show that video. Second thing was we did show the actual commercial in which Obama has thrown his support behind the anti-Newsom recall efforts. And we have Kamala Harris. So you've got your favorite. And then, of course, I guess we could throw Elizabeth Warren in there. Yeah, we can throw Elizabeth Warren in there. So you had three people, got three of their heavyweights, thrown in the mix of this thing. Yeah, Marcy T, there were eggs thrown, and yeah, just rage. Just it's not funny. It's not. It's just it's a tragic comedy, is what to me. It is, and yeah. So I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see. But I did say to you guys, if I still manage to get a ballot, I will certainly share it. I'll still share that with you guys, because I have a feeling I have one at the house, and I will get it, and I will share it with you if I do. But the election is, I think a lot of people that are on the conservative side, they are encouraging people to actually go into to deliver their ballots. I've heard some campaigns on that. I'm not sure. I have not really, yeah, but I've seen that. I've seen that on the thread, if you will. And Omega variant. Joseph, if you're going to maintain that, then I need to stop calling you Joseph Francis Burton and start calling you Omega variant, because he's checking out. I have to get to work. Thank you for thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And Old Head Deuce says, yes, focused on race and mocktails. Seemingly that's it. And Marcy T says, what time is Snake Face Bitten coming on to get us to fight today? What? I'm probably getting that wrong. But thank you for that, Marcy T. I appreciate it. I don't know what time, but you know what? I do anticipate that there's some type of announcement coming out. And I don't know if you guys follow Monty, but for the Never Sleevers, who knows? I don't know, but I'm just thinking things are going to get ugly. It's not just a Gold Coast thing. It's just going to be ugly. More ugliness. Okay. And hello to Anarchy Television. How are you? Thanks so much for coming in. And good morning to you. Yes, is he coming on right now, Marcy T? And okay, all right, so let me just say hello to everybody and then we're out. All right, so what we have is, who did we have from the beginning here? Looks like I'm starting at the top with Omega Variant. Omega Variant, thank you so much for coming in and have a great day. The Flashback LG, thank you for joining us. And Marcy T. Yeah, Marcy T, I don't know, if you want to send me a message on, via email, you can do that. Hope you're doing okay. You're doing well out there. And yeah, hang in there and stay safe. And Old Head Deuce, thank you so much for coming in and giving us that spin, giving us the spin of the morning, the spin perspective. And who else do we have? I'm probably missing somebody. Omega Variant. I'm still, that's still, I got to try to remember that. That's a tough one. But there were some people that were here earlier, and I think they've kind of gotten pretty far down in the thread, I guess, there. So I think John H. Roberts Jr. was here also. Fancy Truth, thank you so much for coming in. All right. Yeah. So, okay, Marcy T says today, I don't know, sorry. Today, I don't know what time. No, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, so I guess we'll see. I've got to get to some things here. And so I'll see you guys around. Saki. Oh, you said Orange Woman. Saki or Saki. Saki. Yeah, she's pretty, I don't know. She's been running away from the camera pretty, a lot more lately too. So who knows? It's just they're always on the defense. You said have a show after. I don't know. I don't know if I have time. I mean, I'm trying to get this one in. I don't. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm trying to get some streams in before things get too crazy. Like just overall. But yeah, of course. All right. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day. And I really appreciate you guys so much for coming in. Am I getting Anarchy? What does Anarchy have here? He says, if anybody is still wanting to vote for a ruler to rule over you and everyone else, you should vote for me and I'll be the overlord the best overlord you ever had. Trust me, I'm qualified. Okay. All right. I hear you. You'll get a few votes. I think you'll probably get some votes out of this stream. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day.